Quiet as kept. I lay back and watch the world spin. I lay back and watch the world spin. I ain't your average cat. Fuck rap. I'm trying to make cream in that sack. Quiet as kept. I lay back and watch the world spin. I lay back and watch the world spin. I ain't your average cat. Fuck rap. I'm trying to make cream in that sack.
Competence rules everything around me, not cream. I manifest thoughts, stop tracing the dream. Use the mind workshop like a carpenter's bench. No more law than a Maurice Graffiti attorney went. Liar, liar, storytellers claiming authority assumed. No dwelling in lower chakras, third eye attuned. Sending mental light beams to orbs. It might seem I'm weird, helping elder strangers with bags downstairs. Correcting street wrongs, clear up karmic debt for all the stores that we robbed and sisters that wept. So nowadays I walk righteous, a teacher that's poor. I might give you a copy of 1984. Mentally and spirit level up, I'm wealthy. So in tune at any time, call Orishas to help me or assist on the most high side, not devil's list. They say they're more, but I see them acting devilish.
Quiet as kept. I lay back and watch the world spin. I lay back and watch the world spin. I ain't your average cat. I'm trying to make cream in that stack. Quiet as kept. I lay back and watch the world spin. I lay back and watch the world spin. Don't forget the essence, don't forget the essence from which I emerged. Say that bullshit for the birds.
Allah made us, but you call us something different. Dummies won't STFU and just listen. Sell a package for $5 grand, buy a charter for fame. Call themselves Ali when they used to be L and Bay. Most play when I do not, all I do is study. And when I get so-called money, buy more books to study. Get one more study and complete the ritual. In more rule time, know thyself is critical. It's more than cards and papers. Be what you know more. Follow the prophet and false constitutional laws. Intelligent tone, you won't hold me back. Standing on squares, branded demons with signs of the zodiac. Get sigil to black, neophytes calling the death. Setting chisels back as false prophets gasp for breath. The meek are about to inherit, known by popes and clerics. From Amazon shamans to the priest Vedic.
Standing on the rock, Morocco, here we go, Moabite Mo, Grand Sheikh Cujo. Let's flow.
From the grave, no longer in the dead state. Colonization claimed my consciousness, but now I'm awake. Broke the chains of being ignorant, I stand on the truth. Competent in my proper person, rocking the boot. Navigating through the waters in the leanable rights. The 7 seas, all I sent me, so I'm bringing the light. Can't rewind the hands of time, so I'm expanding my space. I'm from one human family, the human race. My pedigree is in my blood, I'm forever a more. Asiatic, Moabite, and I'm ready for war. She redeems when I speak, and I'm speaking to me. Assisting and helping uplifting fallen humanity. For the record, on the record, neither Negro or black or troglodyte. My people suffering, we only attack. My people perish from true knowledge, we so desperately lack. So why in the hell would I want to go back? Nope. I can't go back to that. Being a slave of my mentality. Broke the chains that were bound to me. Listen to me now. Can't go back to that. I'm on the left, you're on the right, and the light. Melanated radiation is bright.
Yeah, we don't regress but progress. Crystals back to no stress. With the pheasant not liberate the mind's oppressed. Staring at a wall in a hole, show you a ladder. Which is not a thing you climb, but your 7 chakras. Ask Jacob. 5 up, assalamu alaikum. Left foot first, or standing on the square, take 'em. The opposite of get out black holes into light so marvelous. You get scared from fright. False and light to men appears real, you just might sit that trap, can't move, just paralyzed. Paralysis that you only get if you sleep. Your heights are so deep, the depths are so deep. Intelligent hoodlums said arrest the presidency. 2 shots for drink champs, Nori knows Drew Ali. Call him Yassine Bey, most step, you think like the colonists. Even though Nostradamus told you what your problem is.
Can't go back to that. Being a slave of my mentality. Broke the chains that were bound to me. Listen to me now. I can't go back to that. I'm on the left, you're on the right, and the light. Melanated radiation is bright. I can't go back to that. Being a slave of my mentality. Broke the chains that were bound to me. Listen to me now. Can't go back to that. I'm on the left, you're on the right, and the light. Melanated radiation is bright. to give honors to Allah, the Father of the universe, to Noble Drew Ali, to Grand Sheik, Cujo Awo El, Canaanland Moors, for sharing this mic with me, Temple number 5. To my son, my firstborn, for producing this track, Hassani Mosai, 206, also known as Preach to God, and to DJ Funk Daddy, the best in the West, Washington Republic, and to my emperor, Islamism.
Treat 'em right. Treat 'em right. Treat 'em right. Treat 'em right.
Moors are here to uplift a nation that's fallen. Instead of buying strip clubs, continuing or falling. Most sisters I know got baby daddy drama, beating on the mother and he's the grand master. No patriarch or pimping, you're the god of the earth. He calls it a man bag, I call it what it is, a purse. Making claims of strength but can't give birth. Walk into the womb through the doors of the church or temple or tabernacle, they all represent her. The story of the first female popes is a blur, not to mention the women saviors rule from both thrones. His and her throne was her own. As Ma'at holds the scales with no Tahuti. Though he was a sage scribe, he was her worker bee. See the big picture. Tahuti is thought, which represents thought. Divine manifest in mind molds the thought. Get your mind out the gutter like treat 'em right. You gotta treat the mothers right. Get your mind out the gutter like treat 'em right. You gotta treat our brothers right. Get your mind out the gutter like treat 'em right. You gotta treat the mothers right. Get your mind out the gutter like treat 'em right. You gotta treat our brothers right. Mind is man, but women first like we were taught in ancient schools, which were the wombs, even to the tomb, the afterlife womb, born again on another realm, or back for more truth about our culture as Moors, more by root. See how far they spread, how deep the roots true. Get off the emotions, fire water potions, get the shea butter, my sister, not Jergens lotion. Stop justifying BS, blaming racism. Biz Kane and G-Rap already erased racism. Go back to Diplo, Underground, Tupac, or X-Clan and Fezzes leather that you call it a hat. Go back to medallion strings with beads. Golden era, back to question so-called MCs. Pins and smooth operators, Asiatic kings. On a gold stone, four-finger tourmaline rings. Get your mind out the gutter like treat 'em right. You gotta treat the mothers right. Get your mind out the gutter like treat 'em right.
Man, I see the strongest and smartest men who've ever lived. I see all this potential. I see squandered. God damn it, an entire generation pumping gas, waiting tables, slaves with white collars.
Marcus Garvey got my right, Drew Ali got my left side. Hook pulling for devil's hides with the rally of death stride. Blade dirty like it doesn't shower, tongue is the sword. Morris Master MC Moore, I self am Lord. Accent of Tony Martin and Kwame Ture. They poison Steve Coakley, exposing the black bullet. Threatening Ivan Van Sertima with deportation to his own land he's in. So you know some Masons are pulling strings to shut him up for saying all next. Speaking the truth of those existing before Toltecs and Aztecs and Mayan. So-called blacks are the Hawaiian and the American and the free white man. Stop the blood clot crying. Irish nigga fighting a dancing monkey. Disgrace the race, slap a mumble rap chunky. Take your mask off, show you the future, give you nervous sweats. Listen to yourself singing about Molly and Percocets.
Advertising has us chasing cars and clothes, working jobs we hate, so we can buy shit we don't need.
I see y'all wearing skinny jeans and sagging and sports bra shirts, calling Mochi to bury them in Calgary far outskirts, too grizzly to bear. I fear falling off this frisbee, I swear. Never mind sight impaired, stay on my square. 7 and 4 quadrant ring. I'm on my knees, not praying. I'm strangling gin with rude raksha beads. Some might say mala, some might call it a Buddhist chain. In times of war, everything is a weapon just the same as everything above has a below. Check the facts in stone, or if you can find one, ask a pharaoh. What Orion and Sirius have to do with the plateau of Giza. Ancestors thought project place to place like Freezer. More scientists, Sufi, shut up or down believers. Make those with little faith become ancestral receivers. Through signs and symbols, rhymes and signals, either abandon or get your birthright like a retriever. bands and I'll get your birthright like a retriever.
And conscious means that you're conscious of what's going on in this world. You're fully aware and awake to what's going on in this world. That's what conscious rap means. So if you got conscious rap, that means you got unconscious rap. That means you got motherfuckers that's unconscious rapping. That means they sleeping. They still under the spell of Leviathan. They still under the spell of King.
Call me brother man, I'm not the rubber man. Though I keep my Nazis in affairs wrapped with some rubber bands. Bunning out the Ku Klux Klan and Wizard Grand Dairy Queen misters. Just butts of guns I'm giving. Trying to make more sovereign citizens. These minions help kill your prophet, stole your treasury millions. You heard it from your brother man, not a smother sellout. Sets links in K2 Kush days, keep me red out. I got the knowledge to make these silly hoes question the pimpin' directors of music videos. Gay laws and persons with strap-on boots with heels. Too much graphic art faces, boobs are not real. Since MCM and Troop, they use Timberland boots to get us all caught up in fashion, not the simple men roots. Got our people on dogmatic, not metaphysic. Exoteric, not esoteric is how you missed it. So out of it, you couldn't feel the natural mystic blowing through the air like it didn't give a shit. I hear the dirty Moors dissing, cause I said profanities. A lot of these grand sheets need to take off the panties. Pull the thong out your crack fest wearing sash ass nigga. Return to where the prophet found you, Negro, ass nigga.
It's time to choose a side. You either positive or you negative. You either evil or you good. You understand what I'm saying? Choose a side, nigga. I know what side I'm on.
I throw a Molotov at the priest that works for the beast. All they want is our people to rest in peace. No attention of allowing more stress to ease. Cracker won't go home to spread himself the disease. Genocidal epidemic kill us in high proportions. Instead of mummified, we stay boxed in coffins. Mayors attend funerals for PR purposes. Where's the police escort? He replied with nervousness. He said, I don't have those numbers or connections to have Metro Police lead your friend's funeral procession. That's coming from Mr. Mayor, black community player. No question in the hoods dropping off boxes of weapons. Then blame black on black crime or natural causes. Plus those doctors are not on point but off a bit. Natural mystics prove they're not holistic. Hypocrite oaths make your children autistic.
It seems like we are talking about these viral videos of people of color dealing with calls to police for ordinary, non-criminal things every day. In the past few days, stories surfaced about Native American students attending a college tour reported by a suspicious parent, a black grad student who fell asleep in a common area in her dorm reported by a white fellow grad student, and a group of friends who were detained by police while they were checking out of their Airbnb rental reported by a white neighbor of the homeowner. And the Airbnb guests and their lawyer are calling on Rialto police to hold the caller accountable. Joining me now to discuss, filmmaker Kelly Fife Marshall, activist and filmmaker Denisha Prendergast, and artist Komi Olafemihan, and their attorney Jasmine Rand. Good to have all of you with us this morning.
Great to be with us.
We already know. They have an officer of the court there. Forget anything that officer of the court says. Because pleas, which they're pleading because they got whatever treatment they got because they want to be black guys. Pleas must be pled in propria persona. You know, black Airbnb guest is a nationality. You know, a place called Black Airbnb Guests. That these people are their citizens of that. That they're going to broadcast these people all across the world as some black whatever. And then stupid, incompetent people in North America who should know better because they had Marcus Garvey come to them. They had Elijah Muhammad come to them. They still got Farrakhan today. They had Martin come to them. They had El Haj come to them. They had Francis Cress Welsing. They had everybody come to them. They still don't get it. Playing stupid. They had Theodore Allen come to them. Break everything down. But no, they're still playing. They're still playing. Just remember, go check out morecivilletter.net. morecivilletter.net. So you can get some perspective as to why race in America is a problem. Because these black guys. Because once there's the black, then there has to be the opposite. That's just how it goes. But you don't want to get rid of the black to get rid of the white man. Plain.
This morning.
So, Denisha, first, let's start here. This was last Monday, April 30th. You were checking out of this Airbnb, and it seemed, pretty normal, packing things up. And then what happened?
Wow. And then out of nowhere, police cars swooped down on us from in front of us and behind us. It was kind of surreal.
And you didn't know that anything was out of the ordinary until the police car showed up?
No, we can't say anything was out of the ordinary. When I came out, we were packing our vehicle, and Kelly indicated to me, she said, look over that lady over there. And the lady was standing on her front lawn, looking over at us with her hand akimbo and her hand to her phone. And she said, she's probably going to call the police. And I kind of just scoffed at it and went back inside because why would she? And so said, so done.
Not so said, so done. Put that ritual on yourself, talking about these people that they shouldn't even be in your mind. You shouldn't be thinking about lights and boys in blue and all that BS. Shouldn't even be thinking about that. Like I said, man is mine, but woman first. Who this stuff happened to? Sister, once again. Have the big gun, but don't want to squeeze because it's the big gun. And no, just go all in. Look at the examples of the revolutionary women. Look at the examples of them. They ain't got bothered by no European. Nobody call no European on them. Call European on them for what? That's why Noble Drawley told Moors, feathers and turbans. You play around. You think that he was just talking about some religious, be part of some religious corporation. Or yeah, we're not black guys now. We have a religion, so we can get to wear a turban and a fez or whatever. No, that was to separate you from the dumbasses, so you don't get caught up in their BS. Just because guilty by association. Just because that one day that you said, you know what, I'm just gonna go chill with a nigger today. Something happens. Always that's how it goes down. But it's initiated from us having that fear tactic inbred in us. We got from our parents, they got from their parents, they got from their parents. And goes down the line. Willie Lynch syndrome, BS, this is genetics. This is just what it is. We need to debate it. We got all this stuff that we're dealing with, that we got from other people. That we're literally forcing ourselves not to be our ancient foreparents and be something else, and then be mad, and then not even have been told. Go read Divine Warning by the Prophet for the Nations by Noble Drawley. It's online. Just go pull that up. A Divine Warning by the Prophet for the Nations. If you read that and you don't think that he's talking about what's going on right now, you're a dumbass. And you need to stop whatever it is that you're doing and sit down and go breathe for a little bit, get your senses back, because you lost your mind. Lost. You don't even know where your mind is. Just because you didn't listen to what man dropped in the 1900s? That this is about nationality and birthrights? This is not about being some fiction. That some European on her porch sees you with bags. Obviously, you're going somewhere. Obviously, clearly, you're not a thief or whatever. You don't have the white van and you don't have the, you know, the sneaking around. It's broad daylight. Like what? Why are they calling? What is it? What would, you know, they have to have some type of like over compensating fear of dark or anything considered black. To just be on your porch and you see some people with luggage and you say, I'm gonna go call the police because they look suspicious. Bet you if there was feathers and turbans, there would be no issues with that. No issues whatsoever. Because that sets the standard as to what jurisdiction you're in. More so because you're so-called black. A black guy with a fez on in 2018, no way. But then they're gonna come up to you and tell you or ask you, hey, where are you from? You better not tell them that you're black. Because immediately they know that you're Morisco. You're front. Like the more sent the you're front, you're fronting so much that you're gonna call your fez a tarbush. That's how much you're fronting. So when you check the research on the tarbush, the more sent tells you that the tarbush, oh, that's what the Moriscos were. After the Spanish Inquisition, that became a tarbush. And these are the people, the Moriscos, the converso Moors, the Moors who gave up their birthright to be Christian, and then go be Christian, and then why are you mad? Don't get mad. Well, don't be mad. Don't be mad because you went in the jurisdiction of the color game. Because people in the world are not identified by color. And it is amazing how people are fascinated. People who don't live in America come from somewhere else because they're foreigner, immigrant, etc. It's amazing how they obviously never talk to black guys. Because the way they react, knowing that, you know, like, yeah, I read Theodore Allen. White is not real. What do you mean? Why are you saying white people? And they're like, yo, you read that? How do you get that book? Where do you get that book from? Why are we reading that book? And then all of a sudden they want to know all this stuff. Not no black, white interaction, like how these people are talking about. Matter of fact, I just want to throw a shout out to Brother Samir Bay. So he's at the Starbucks. So we go to the Starbucks. I mean, sit there, we're just there building, chilling, whatever. And then before we leave, you know, just go to the washroom. So go to the washroom. There's 2 washrooms, 2 separate doors, both male or female, so, you know, whatever. So man buzzes the door for the washroom. So they say, yeah, buzz the other one too. Buzz the other one. Go to the washroom. Now we were in there. We didn't buy anything. Matter of fact, highwaymen came in there. And we were having conversations with them in the Starbucks. But no, we didn't have the fezzes on and turbans on and none of that stuff there. We were just like regular looking black guys. But when you're approachable, people aren't threatened. And black to the world is not approachable. Even a European lady on her porch just chilling. See some black guys with some bags, and in her mind, they're stealing stuff. Think about how psychotic that is. And then we have to go into, if it's really that psychotic, is this real? Like, is this real? Or Islam to Brother Moreno Bay? Make sure you go watch Moreno Bay, the new Life's Purpose video. Go watch that one. Right? If it's really that psychotic, this thing can't be real. No way this is real. There's absolutely no way that this is real. They're doing this, play some stupid games with Negroes out here who don't want to know about their nationality and birthrights. This is the social engineering, not some books that they wrote, them presenting you to yourself like some black guys, and then you feed into the emotion because, you know, black guys get shot and black guys, whatever. Oh, yeah, well, these black guys, oh my gosh, I can't believe that they're. But they're playing their self. And now you're playing yourself because now you're calling yourself black, which is a fiction, it's fraud. You can't be that. I don't care how much times they say it. I don't care who said it. You can't be that. Black has nothing to do with who you are or what you are. Zero. It's not racial profiling, racial discrimination. It's self-denationalization. It's taking your own birthright that you were given from your ancient forefathers, throwing it away to be a bum-ass nigger. And then you're mad why people are treating you like a bum. Are you mad? We're mad. It's bigger than what people think. And it's out of sheer ignorance. Willing ignorance. Not even forced ignorance. Willing ignorance. That you're really gonna say black Airbnb guests. Like that's who you are? You have any other story of somebody up there? The yellow Airbnb guests were racially profiled. Never, not a chance. Purple Airbnb guests, no, never. Brown Airbnb guests, because they look brown to me. They'll look black. Like, they look brown. How come CNN, whoever, doesn't say brown? And how come that's not their argument? Hey, forget about European whatever on the porch and highway, man. How come you guys keep calling us black? And fight for all that stuff. For when your ancestors got called black and they fought for that because they didn't want to be that. They say capitalize the N before we be black. And now you're just happy to be black guys. Facing all type of BS and then complaining when it's you're the one calling yourself black guys.
Live in the Sea Caucus. Been having multiple problems with this club. Got my membership right here. I scanned in. I was asked to scan in again for no reason. I'm the only person in the gym. They have to scan again. And I have my...
Right? You don't realize that they're playing you like a jackass? You don't really get it. You don't get that they're playing you like a dumbass. They're playing you like this is Christian Black Code, 1700s. That if you're a muscle guy, then you've been going to that gym if you're a muscle guy. You get muscles yesterday. So these people have to know who you are if you're a member there. And then you've had multiple occasions of them playing this game. Right? 212,000 views, remember.
My membership, I've been a member here for at least 8 years. You got the cops here. You got the police here. See, what's your name? It don't matter. They'll know who you are. All right, here. Go ahead, scan it.
Right? Black guy goes to the counter where the European is. Hey, what's your name? European looks at the highwayman. Highwayman says, hey, you don't gotta give me your stuff or whatever. And then he's talking about forget it. Again, the European who is there got approached by the black guy. The European looked at the quote-unquote enforcer. See how they use their stuff? Looked at the enforcer to tell her the law. And the law was, according to Highwayman, that it's policy. You have to tell him nothing. Oh, so that means that also applies to them, right? Black guy position is run the treadmill. Because if you have multiple occasions with these people, I would have took my membership somewhere else. F you guys. You guys not getting my fiat. Are you getting my fiat and my service sucks here? I must be a dumbass if I keep going there. Which is why, so from the beginning, guilty by association. Because in the background, some people are dumbass. And I get you into some stuff that you really shouldn't be in because you're more. Like, how are you in stuff? How are you in stuff? And then how are you in the stuff, then get into stuff, and then not know how to deal with the stuff that you got yourself into. And again, this same age, I'll pull a camera, videotape something. Yeah. Yeah. But if you have a dead status, if you think you know what it is to be a Moor, so I'm going to go out here and be a Moor because I think I know what it is to be a Moor. Don't get mad when you get stuff that you don't want. Don't get upset. Don't fall for the game because everybody knows what's up. Word's been getting out. Word's been getting out.
I told you I'll scan that with your manager, right? Go ahead, scan that. And they call the police for this. Police right here. What that say on screen? Have a nice day. Can we go work out now? Have a very nice day. I'll leave finish C caucus again.
Dude, you're not allowed to film it.
Why not?
Let's put that over.
Okay, now
Let's figure this out, all right?
I do want to figure out.
We're gonna get the
all these
contract.
police officers here for what reason?
We're just here,
I'm not
man.
gonna fix it. We have problems with staff.
I said, yo, why are you here? Man, we're just here, man. We're just here. You tell me this is not Christian black codes right now? You tell me this is not the slave patrol going on right now, 2018? This is the slave patrol. This is not citizens and highway enforcement and whatever like that. These are not officials in charge of law enforcement. This guy said, we're just here. We're just here chilling. And again, you know, we have to always go back to the origin. Why did police even get called? You're a member. How are you a member inside the stuff where you're supposed to be a member of? You're in it. You're not outside or something like that in some other jurisdiction. You're in the place where you have the little thing for them to swipe the thing, and then you get to use the facilities. You're in there using the facilities, and they're telling you, go swipe again. But now there's slave patrol there. So again, go into the psyche of the stuff to pass down, to pass down, to pass down, to pass down to generations, the stuff that's in our genes. And just because they're there, you already go into the guilt. I'm guilty. I'm guilty. Yep, I'm going to go swipe in, even though I know I swiped in already. And you might ask the question, you know, well, how would Turban and Fez fix this situation? He's at the gym. How about this? Turbans and Fez would have their own goddamn gym. Wouldn't be need to go to no goddamn LA Fitness. That we check the history of that corporation. It's probably some European over there that used to hang niggers. What do you mean? Why are you mad? You're down with slave master. You want to be self-sufficient. You don't want to have the finance go around our community 500 times before it leaves. Remember, he's a member and he's in the stuff right now. He's not outside of it. He's in it. Slave Patrol, 2000.
That's for months now. Several people, not just me. You got several emails from corporate about this stuff.
I get it. You guys don't like cell phones. I get it. It's not criminal activity.
Exactly. Just like you kicked me out the gym for no reason.
That's company policy.
Just like you kicked me out the gym for no reason. Ridiculous, man. Working out by myself and this lady too.
And you want to get paid. Now, my sergeant explained something. You can show the contract where it says they can be picked at any time.
For no reason. For no reason. I didn't argue with anybody. I didn't do anything to anybody. So ridiculous. And we're only two black people in the gym. Let's make this a black thing. We're only two black people in the gym. Only two black people in the gym that have a problem with this thing.
Right? Self-denationalization on camera. On camera. And again, the psyche passed off from generation to generation. You see the stuff, and then you're, you know, feeling for the when self-denationalized himself on his own stuff that he uploaded himself. Then remember, for everybody else, you know, reflection of one is a reflection of the others. Which is why, as Moors, we take the position of either you're with us or, I mean, I don't know what to tell you. Because you can't be what you've been being. That's not an option. Illusion. Like white man, illusion. Jesus, illusion. Time to deal with reality. Paid member. Membership has its privileges, which can be taken away. But you paid though, like a dumbass. But you paid though. And then, opposed to canceling the membership, telling them F them in their gym, just loving it. Loving it. Can't believe my
Determine who's allowed to be here and who's not allowed to be here, regardless of whether you feel that you're allowed to be here or not, okay?
We need to make sure that you belong here. I deserve to be here. I pay tuition like everybody else. I'm not going to justify my existence here.
I have every right to call the police. You cannot sleep in that room.
I need to get back to the 12th floor. I gotta write my paper. But she called the police on my friend about 3 months ago.
What she called the police on?
Because he was in a stairwell and he was black.
You tell me they're not playing you? Don't tell me that you think they're not playing you. Don't tell me. Because remember, she's Nigerian. She went back to Nigeria. She's not in the black BS. She went back to Nigeria. How come they used the Nigerian to push the black BS on you? And then she left. How come? How come you people? How come? How come, right? How come the black guys don't show you how dumb you guys look right now? How come the black scholar guys are keep pushing this black thing? This is you guys right here. All you conscious black guys, this is you guys right here. Right? Police called on you because you're blacks. That's all. No other reason. You didn't do anything. All you were was black. And then go look up black and see all the BS that's tied to black as far as negative. What you don't want attached to you. And see if you want that attached to somebody else and have them around you.
Is brewing at Yale University.
Yeah, a black student there says someone called police on her because she was sleeping in a common area in her dorm. News 8's Mario Boone joins us live from Yale tonight. Mario, you spoke to the student in that video, right?
I did. We just got off the phone with her maybe an hour ago from Nigeria. She just landed there in Nigeria. She gave us permission to use the Facebook video of the...
How are they? Okay, the black is from over here. It's not from over there, right? The black thing is from over here. Over there is the African whatever. Over here is the black and the white and all that stuff, right? How come they use the Nigerian? Somebody who's not here, somebody who has a nationality, they used her to have black guys here mad when she left. She's not even here marching with y'all right now. She's in Nigeria right now. And people not playing you? You really think they're playing you?
This incident, we also tracked down another black student here at Yale who says the same woman in that video also called the cops on him, accusing him of being an intruder. Here's the Facebook video shot by a Yale University graduate student now going viral. It appears to show a white grad student accusing Lolade Siambola, who is black, of being...
Right? Her name ain't no black name. That's Nigerian name. But over here, they have to play their social engineering in order to lull people into their comas that they're in right now. And Moors are here for that. You know, when you said, you know, there was that thing that every young person did. There's a thing. You know, let me just try this and see. And then when you tried it, you got a rude awakening. Okay, the Moors are the rude awakening. The Moors are the slapping you across the face for you to wake up. And you actually really wake up and realize that you've been living a lie the whole time. Well, you're black. And you start studying and researching. Speaking about that. Right? This is what you don't want to be. This is what you don't want to be. And again, with regard to why Moors say we're not black and we're not African and we're not all these things that people say that they are. And we stick to what we know that was laid down to us. That as dark-skinned people, we're Moors. Ain't nothing could debate or refute that. And the reason we come to that firm stance is because we study and research and know what we're talking about is what it is. Remember, this is Yale. She graduated already. She graduated already. Nell Waldman, Nell Waldman, flunking with style. Again, put this in perspective of our people and how they overachieve to be nothing. And then they floss about it. And they graduated from Yale, but they were the black guy that made national news, or the black girl that made national news, that there's racism there. You think some Chinese not looking at you like a dumbass? You still going to school there? You going through all that BS? How come you guys don't have your own school? They'll say, obviously in their own language, they'll say that. And you don't get it. Flunking with style. to fail grandly, to fail extravagantly, to go down in truly blazing splendor requires effort and imagination. To fail your year in grand style, you must antagonize your teachers, disdain your studies, and cheat on your work. The first step, antagonizing your teachers, isn't difficult if you keep in mind what it is that teachers like: intelligent, interested, even enthusiastic faces front row center. Show that you're bored before the class begins, slouching in a desk in the back of the room. The occasional snort or snicker in the teacher's direction when she's putting a complex point on the board. Before long, you'll have the teacher bouncing chalk stubs off your head. Once you've earned the loathing of your instructors, you'll be well on your way to a truly memorable failure. Right? The truly memorable failure. We have generations to show that Negro black colored is some BS. And our people are still playing around like that's something. But you know, who are we? We're just some Moors. We don't know anything. So let's see what the guys who you guys know say and how they're talking.
Resulting in the kind of extreme consequences for black people. But the point is that the smartphone has captured it now. We're recording what people said didn't exist. Now they go to another level of criticism. Well, what happened before the camera started rolling, and did you do X, Y, and Z? Look at this film here. Did the police act in the similar fashion to the white woman who called the police? Let me see your Yale ID. What department are you in? Are you sure you're a student here yourself in order to have the legitimacy? It's the unquestioned legitimacy of the white woman's word against this black woman, who is then subject to the 12th degree of scrutiny that is so patently unfair and that leads to the kind of racial microaggressions and harassment to which she eloquently refers.
What is the role of police here? Because I think of these different instances: the Rialto, California Airbnb, right. 3 of the 4 women leaving.
Don't waste your time. You just go watch that BS on your own time. But we will play this.
I tell you, I'm really humbled by my man right now. What he's saying.
I think that, you know, often we get the artists we deserve, right? In order to, because when you listen to the roll call of the artists that Nas cited, it wasn't just that his level of excellence had to match theirs, though that's critical enough. Those artists had to speak to a generation that wanted to hear something deep and profound. So when you're ready, Ralph Ellison appears. When you're ready, Toni Morrison appears. When you're ready, James Baldwin announces himself. Alice Walker comes forth. You know, it's like when preaching. You want a great sermon, be a great audience, be a great congregation. Say amen. Wow. Give me some support. Have some theology that resonates with my divine orientation. Then we can have an imaginative, rendezvous between pulpit and pew. So the same thing with an artist. You want great art, be a great listener. That's why when I go back, and I listen to Nas. There's some stuff I've been listening to Nas that would have 20 years, and that's some stuff you still discover. Like when you go back and look at The Godfather. Oh God, they massacred my boy. I mean, it's like, oh, I didn't see Marlon Brando do that before. I didn't see Pacino twisted like that. Right. That's some nuance because I've been watching it because there are goodies hidden there. So when we hear Nas, right? I woke up early on my born day. I'm 20. The essence of adolescence leaves my. I mean, you know, you go back and listen to that, like, damn, okay. He's in response to my brother on the phone yesterday from prison said, you know, tell the God I said hello. He said he'll know what I'm talking about because he's, you know, in not Nation of Islam, but he's in not 5%er, but he's Dyson Bay. So his Moorish temple kind of analysis of the world through the prism of his own religious identity resonated with a guy 20 years ago who spoke directly to the crises, existential and political and social, that these young people were enduring. So to me, we get the artists we deserve. If we get this pablum, this souped up nonsense.
Nobody lying.
I was innocent, they say I kicked the bitch, steady grabbing on me while performing. They took me from my only daughter. My sons really need a father. Had an outdate, but it came and went. Illinois say I had a warrant. Love, truth, peace, freedom, justice, Moroccan flag for the heart. Get child rack looking in the eyes of a cracker, you and I'm a heart. I had a warrant. Love, truth, peace, freedom, justice, Moroccan flag for the heart. Get child rack looking in the eyes of.
Yeah, Kevin Gates is out. So, you know, immediately he had to go to the studio or whatever. And immediately he goes to the studio and then he's talking about love, truth, peace, freedom, justice, Moroccan flags, what he honors. You think there's some game out here? You know Eric Dyson's brother who's in jail is a Bay? Yeah, you know what Morris is saying though. You're not gonna hear. You're gonna hear what Kevin Gates is saying. You listen to him. You're gonna listen to Yasin. You keep playing. You keep playing. You can't keep playing. There's no way that you can keep playing. Brother Tunis Bay said for the Moors to go watch on YouTube, proof the Grand Canyon mountains are ancient pyramids. Proof the Grand Canyon monuments, apologies, proof the Grand Canyon monuments are ancient pyramids. If you have any questions, you could email those to canaanlandguide, canaanlandguide, canaanlandguide@gmail.com. Brother Gomanico L. Peace, Moors. For your information, while talking with a guy that works in building concrete slabs, he shared the following info based on his previous contracts and projects. 1. Next to the Parliament building, there is a 7-story underground building. The building is hidden to the quote-unquote citizens. Like the underground 7-story building next to the Parliament building. For the Moors who are outside of this jurisdiction, when we say we're going to Ottawa, the quote-unquote capital of Canada, there. And from the history of the pyramids, you know what you see above ground is not what's going on underneath. Right. 2. Beneath the Parliament building, there is an underground network of tunnels, a mini city. When the tunnel collapsed in 2016 or 2017, plus a sinkhole, the media associated the incident with the work of the Light Train Rail project. However, the real cause was related to the rehabilitation of the underground tunnels network that had been there for more than 100 years. So those tunnels were there for more than 100 years, and Parliament been there, and 7-story building underneath the ground. Then you know that cataclysms hit here too. Because events in nature happen everywhere. So yeah, cities, underground, again, going back to when you see all these condos out here being built or whatever like that, they don't fence you see over like back in the day. They're blocking stuff now when they're building and all, digging up and all that. They're blocking. They used to put the little fence that they had the fence, and then they used to wrap the green whatever around it. You can still kind of see what's going on in there. Now, no access. Zero access. Like the same thing like they say in the Grand Canyon. They got gates up there blocked off. No entry for here. You can't see what's in here. Right? Have their man that's gonna come out and talk to you. Why are you up there? You can write this one down. hrw.org. hrw.org. January 9th, 2018. Dark Side Secret Origins. Dark Side Secret Origins. Evidence, U.S. criminal cases. Evidence, U.S. criminal cases. Brother Ali sent that. Brother Mikael Eve. For the people saying we never used a 5-point star on our flag before 1912, tell them to explain the flag of the Songhai Empire, which dates back to 1430, which uses a red flag with a 5-point green star. Ouch. So the Songhai Empire, Sunni Ali Bear and the crew had a red flag with a 5-point star. And again, once you go to Noble Drew Ali's literature and you realize that the jurisdiction of the Moroccan Empire extends from the east to the west, you realize how important knowing who you are is. Because again, this is just another Moor out here. That's just another brother of the silent brotherhood. Another Moorish spiritual, mental, celestial wanderer. on his own sojourn. And he could have went to the grave with there's a red flag, 5-point green star. Before some Morocco 1900s that people are talking BS about Moors and the red flag with the green 5-point star. They don't want that. Take the star off. We just want the red flag only. Throwing away their own stuff. No different than the black guys. Throwing away their own stuff. Especially since Noble Drew Ali brought it for you. Resurrecting the ancestral forces within you by having you recognize these sigils, red flag, green star. You think that's some yesterday thing? Just another brother out there could have said, I'm keeping this for myself. I want to be the man. Nobody has to know this. So remember the Council of Amun, whoever's that we talked about before, and that 99% of the people didn't have the information and they were the ones that had the real information. So when I responded to them, they responded with some long stuff going into, 99.9% does not mean totality, and our teachings are not readily available because it steps ahead of other stuff, and this caliber of information is not for everybody's ears and all that stuff. So kept stressing on, I asked you to tell me your collective premise on the Moors, and what does this mean? And please elaborate and all this stuff. Right? If you want to know about Moors and what our platform's about, go to rvbaypublications.com. There's my premise on the Moors. And then they like to put these little sayings at the bottom of their stuff, be intelligent, be wise, be safe, So I sent mine back, study, 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 then study yourself, So the reply again is unfortunate that, you're unprofessional in answering questions, and, we're going to take this dialogue and put it online so we can show, that, there's greatness about you that we still see in you and all this BS. Like, where were you guys 5 years ago, 10 years ago? Are you just hearing about you guys now because one of your trolls who were trolling our stuff left a message and now you decide to reply to something? So be mindful out here. Everybody wants to form allegiance with the Moors but not be Moors. FOH. You form allegiance with the Moors, but you're not a Moor. So why just go do your black allegiance BS and keep Moors out your mouth and Noble Drew Ali and all of that. Just do yourself that favor. Sister Selkit said this one. From slavery to pride, why the world got the racist royal jewelry all wrong. A brooch worn by Princess Michael of Kent caused an uproar last week, but looking at its history proves that Meghan Markle should not be insulted by it. But you know the black guys, Islam Moors there, we're back. You know how they do it up. You know how they do it up. I don't know what the hell that was. Do not know what that was. But we know how they do. So we got an email from Moors near Bahamas. So wanted to answer that one too. Wanted to get to that one. I guess this would be for any of the Atlantis Islands. Any of the Atlantis Islands. Right? Because these ones could. The answers to these should apply to others as well. First question is, can the documents, proclamations, declarations, and other papers prepared through RV-Bay publications be used to nationalize me and our group in the Bahamas, quote unquote? Or do I need to go through the Bahamas laws, Senate records, and other legal papers to find the equivalent to what RV-Bay did with the quote unquote American laws, congressional records, and other pertinent documents? Or do those papers and documents pertain only to the geographical locations called the USA? Now, let's just say, no abbreviation, United States of America, jurisdiction, geographically. Bahamas falls in there. That falls under the jurisdiction of Americas. Now, when you say, like, when, so-called other islands say laws of wherever they're talking about, the law there is natural law, because the people of these places are Aboriginal and Indigenous people. Their law is universal law. That's what their law is. The moral code is not their laws like that, in that perspective. Their moral codes are to make them better, just like 42 Principles of Ma'at was to make Egyptians better. Whether it's this life, afterlife, whatever like that, you're definitely going to be better if you live by these things right here. So the only real law that is needed is the law to keep foreigners in check whenever they're in the Americas, wherever that is. So don't go by the Bahamian law from the perspective of they got their independence in 19 whatever, so they have laws now for this. That's not the jurisdiction. You're gonna go pre-independence. Forget independence, because independence was from some Europeans. Which, if a European gave you independence, you're not independent. They still own you. Now, there's Moors that we know that, quote unquote, Jamaica, that in that jurisdiction, they declared their nationality and they went with the quote unquote birth certificate and changed all the documents. So now they have those documents in their LRB. Now that could only happen in a common law jurisdiction, because there's no constitution over there unless it came from the quote unquote independence, whatever, or it's the Aboriginal indigenous people. But they weren't tying themselves to the Aboriginal indigenous people of quote unquote Jamaica, which would be the Maroons. They're saying that they're Moors, and they still change their stuff. So you can go check, because information is, you know what I mean, power. But we're not going to get caught up because we know power is an illusion, right? But information is very useful. So if you have to go check some Senate records for their legal papers, you know, look for equivalents of what Great Seal National Association of Moorish Affairs paperwork, writs, etc., congressional records, you know, and all that. But know that for any European being in the Americas, they're bound by treaty. Specifically, treaty between Sultan and U.S, so that these people know that they can't just do whatever it is that they want around here. They have orders. They have a way that they're supposed to do things. If they're not doing it like that, then that means that that government should be removed by the people now saying that they're the government, because we realize that you people are fraud, which is what's happening here with Moors. That there's Moors that they got issues here, and they're standing on some, sorry, like, I'm not a ward of the crown. I'm not a ward of the crown. Have these people mad? You have to have a birth certificate and all that. No, not really. Because I'm not your ward. And it's continuous battle, because again, we're going against the Inquisition, New Age, if we're saying we're Moors. If you want to see if you're built for this, if this is really for you, this frame of mind, this way of life, if you really want to find out if this is for you, you'll be given the task. And once you get those tasks, and then you know, go through the stuff, you'll come out the other end and either be like, you know what, forget this, or you'll be inspired to really use this. So whatever you can go research and find wherever you're at, whether it's Bahamas or Trinidad and Tobago, Jamaica, or wherever, know that the islands are the Americans. Because the islands are the Americans, Europeans are bound to the Constitution for the United States of America Republic, which is why all these places would be called republics after their independence. Because they really have obligations to treaty. Once you're looking at, it's some Europeans that put the guys in power that you're looking at now as, oh yeah, those guys are our government or whatever. No, those people there are imposters. They took away your ability to trust in officials. Don't trust them anymore. Not that you can't, meet with them, go to their town hall meeting, listen to what they're saying and whatever like that. You can do that. But you're going there as a concerned Aboriginal and Indigenous more. You're not going there as, you're a citizen of something. If they got something to offer. They're giving out checks today, you're going for yours. Now, you know how to live within contracts. Yeah, the check. I'm sure you could do something with that. But you better know how to live within contracts. Don't forget about the part, you better know how to live within contracts before you go contract with them to go get some kind of check. Just because, you tried being a Moor and it's hard and, now that you have that information, you better start living within contracts with these people. Don't be Negro. Find out about your nationality. Realize, nah, I'm not really cut out for this. And then go back to Negro and then not apply what you learned in some way, shape, or form. Because in your resurrection of your old self in a new body, there's going to be other people that are going to gravitate to this as well. That's just natural because it's that time right now. So what you want to do is do everything as a body. Don't do anything as individuals. Everything that you do is as a body. And always put in your mind other nations when they're doing stuff relative to their culture. They always do it as a body. You hardly ever see them, just one of them. Most of the time they're with somebody or people. Like we're saying, doing things relative to exercising of whatever. If there's a suit, right? Put away all their BS, all of them are on it. So the same mentality with the people who you bring in. People who are going to be saying, oh yeah, so-and-so put me on the information, they nationalized me and all that. That's your body. Because the thing that ate the Constitution thinks that you need the Constitution to hold them to their obligations. You just hold them to their obligations. Just know what their obligations are as foreigners in your land. Because remember, the expectation, just like dealing with the Negro, that these people are going to be on their porch and see the Negroes and then they're going to call police or whatever, or they see somebody in a Yale dorm sleeping with books on them, but they're a threat to somebody. And it's the same way that those people look at it, that you're looking at it with who you're with, that their mindset is sure as to where it is that you're going, that you're not gonna, talk about enforce Constitution, and then there's people around you talking about, well, not the statute of the whatever, and then they're trying to enforce statutes as the law. It's going to be an apparent contradiction, which again, like we're saying, incompetence really only reflects on the individual who did the incompetent act. Because that individual that did the incompetent act can be excommunicated by the group. Don't worry about dirties coming in and all that stuff, because you could get them out. The thing is having something to do in the body, having something to do in the body when you become part of it. And not because somebody said you're gonna do whatever. You know where you fit. You know where you fit. As soon as you get with the body, you know, oh yeah, you know what? I can add this, and prioritize and add that to the body. So like when like the Moors in Bahamas, that they're talking about, yeah, there's a group of us. That's their body. That they are going to be standing as a whole. Because remember, you're dealing with an island. So the jurisdiction is a little bit easier to maneuver as far as the uplifting acts. Because you're gonna know off the top who wants this, who's game for this. They don't have time to test and see if they want to be part of this or whatever like that. Once it sounds like, they're going with it because they have a different mindset there. Like when we're building with them, you know how it's we have to convince the Negro black colored people. The island people, they already have common law. Common law is already part of them. It's already part of their culture. So in the mainland, people are trying to get the mainlanders to get these concepts about common law and natural law, universal law, metaphysics, occult, and all that stuff. People in the islands, they already got that. That's why they can say, we've been listening to y'all for about 6 months and we want to do, like, we know exactly what you're talking about with regard to the democracy takeover or whatever. We're seeing that firsthand happening right now here. I became aware of the Bahamian legal system, and I have most of the legal documents and laws that govern us here. Since I started listening to you and Taj just about 6 months ago, me and my group are ready to nationalize, but the second question, what nation do we nationalize under, since there is no nation named Moorish? But there's an empire named Moorish, and Moorish means pertaining to the Moors. So in the 1900s, when Noble Drew Ali was going around, by the time they got to 1928, 29, and going into the first convention, Noble Drew Ali was the president for the Moors. And every Moorish Science Temple was a state that had a governor and a secretary of state and a mufti force, military, and every temple was a state. And we were Moorish American. Our history was pertaining to the Moors. Specifically, our religion was Islamism. We had our own divine constitution and bylaws. We had our own nationality card. We had our own flag. And this man right here by the name of Noble Drew Ali told us at our convention that we are a nation. What's your nation? What do you mean, what's our nation? What flags represent nations? What flag is that right there? Yeah, Moroccan flag. But remember, the Moor told us that the Songhai had the red flag with the 5 green point star as well. So don't let the people talking about the Moorish and all that, and don't get lost in that, because Moorish means pertaining to the Moors, and Moors is a noun. So we're not saying that we're Moorish. If we say Moorish, we're saying pertaining to the Moors, which that makes a big difference than somebody just saying we're Moorish means adjective, so we're not Moorish. Where Moorish means pertaining to the Moors, that gives Moorish a whole new meaning. So the nation called Moorish that we're part of is Morocco. That's the nation that you are returning to. Not you're under or anything like that, or that made you, whatever. You made you. Because you're the one that's coming back into your nationality and birthrights. Everybody else already knows. We're the ones just getting on the game. We're the ones just realizing, oh, we're not black people. We're not African American, African Canadian. We're not Trinidadian, Jamaican. We're not Tobagonian. We're not Bayesian. We're none of that. We're actually the Aboriginal indigenous people to the land, and we're bound to this continent by heritage. How are you bound here by heritage if you don't have a nation? Obviously, you have to have a nation if you're bound somewhere by heritage. So the nation that Bahamas is under is Morocco. That's part of the Moroccan Empire. that they would call the Moorish Empire. And again, it's a repetitive theme. Make sure when you get those name correction and judicial proclamations paperwork that you read those 500 times before you even change anything and put something in there. Because the reality is that it's supposed to be how it is. There's no need to change it or amend it or do anything to it. Because it already is. As soon as you get into, well, why don't we put this here? Or why don't we add this? Or why don't we, you take away from the energy that was originally put into creating that. And the energy that was put into creating that was needed for the document to do what it's doing now, that it has you people in Bahamas saying, hey, we got to study with these people because what they're saying, hold on a second, then you go check all the stuff that you already said that you're going to go check and find out whatever for over there. And you realize that, hold on a second, so all this stuff that's been going on here is English law? We don't know England. Bahamas isn't England. Why is English law what we're doing here? If Bahamas isn't England. If Bahamas isn't England, how come they're playing like this is England? And again, America is not Britain. So British could FOH with they have jurisdiction over here. Only way that they have jurisdiction is if they go by that constitution. And when they go by that constitution, they realize they have no jurisdiction. They can't. Because they're parading as democracy. Constitution says republic. So already they're in default. They've been in default from the jump. Because remember, keep in mind, that people fail to realize that all these so-called queens of Europe, all these so-called queens of Europe, who people claim have some type of authority or whatever in the Americas, everything that they have, they did under Doctrine of Discovery. They did under Treaty of Verona. They did under Spanish Inquisition. They did under fraudulent means, diabolical means. So to stand up for the democracy as an Asiatic and be against Moors, to be willing to go fight for them, but when it's time for Moors, or you want nothing to do with this. Know that your mind is probably already gone. And the only reason that you are here right now, and you actually want to know about your nationality and your birthrights, You actually have it in your mind as something you can't let go. You found out, as soon as you found about this information, it's been downhill, bobsled, no brakes. Warp speed. It's time right now. You will perish. And we're not talking about some physical death or whatever when we say perish. You will perish if you don't get this information right now. Right? We already told people if they study Noble Drew Ali, they'll know that power is an illusion. And the force that we have is our nationality. Because nationality is polarizing. And a force polarized would destroy a so-called immovable object. Once the unconscious Moors stop playing games, think for their stuff, stop listening to these idiots that they call leaders and gurus and YouTube scholars or whatever, that's selling them out. Selling them out, providing nothing for the people's salvation. Guaranteed. Guaranteed. Just because Moors are Sufi, we could sit down with anybody. Because being Moors is not like acting like Moors. That's not, people act like they're Kemetan. People act like they're Hebrew. People act like they're Israelite. People act like they're black, act like they're Negro colored. They act that. Moors be, Moors are. Big difference. Big difference. Because when you look at what it is that Noble Drew Ali presented to these same people who hate his guts, and they're going to talk BS about Moors, and they're not Moors, and they're, reincarnated prophets and all this. One thing they're going to realize is that the lessons that he taught, what he had presented to these people, is the only thing that's going to save them. That you're not Negro, black, colored. Just check the record. Even if you go to Theodore Allen, he was one of the biggest promoters of Negro. That's one of the slave brands. Working to be a slave brand instead of just be who your ancient foremothers and forefathers were, Moors. You want to be that. You want to be everything else. How about we put this one up since we're playing? playing You Don't Want to Be Morris. This is Eyes to My Soul, the rise or decline of a black FBI agent, Tyrone Powers. I would sit there watching other students as they watched me. My only escape was my man-child imagination. I imagined that I was somewhere else. Imagined that I was up in the sky, flying freely over and away from the boarded up houses. I was flying away from the railroad tracks, flying over and passing police cars and ambulances with blaring sirens, freely flying and smiling and looking around at pleasant places. Then I imagined that all the students from my classes, all the so-called ghetto children, were flying with me. They too were smiling, smiling and happy about their extraction from the ghetto. We were all headed someplace, any place, just away from the ghetto, away from the taunts and name calling, away from being looked down on, abused, brushed aside as insignificant imps. As insignificant imps. Maybe we were flying back to Africa to be with our families who were also making this joyous odyssey. Not the Africa that the Europeans have created, not an Africa of war and hate and atomic weapons, not an Africa of colonization. We would travel to the Africa that was there before the brutal, immoral invasions, the Africa that was there before the Muslims and the Christians came to save heathen souls. Maybe we were going to sit on the banks of the Nile River with a warm spiritual breeze blowing through us or over us and talk among ourselves. Maybe we would have an old and wise or young and wise professor standing before us teaching mathematics and science. I mean, really teaching us. Maybe another professor would stand up and instruct us on our true history. He or she would tell us all about the great civilizations that we had created. In fact, the professor would tell us that we had been civilized before any other race of people. We had built roads and temples before others even knew what they were. We were the builders of the pyramids, not the destroyers that the world has now identified us as. We had created buildings from rubble. We had not turned buildings into ruins. The professor would tell us about the wisdom of the Moors of Spain. He would tell us of their cleanliness and how it was the Moors who taught others how to bathe. We would learn how the Moors organized and structured a society, how they had built beautiful cities, how others had learned from them and then expelled them. This point would explain what had happened to blacks in America. Remember, this is black FBI agent guy. Black FBI agent guy. I had heard before all of what Nate was saying. I knew most of it to be true. It was as if he forgot that I had grown up with him, that I had walked past the junkies and the alcoholics. I had witnessed the murders and the rapes. I had sat through those BS classes and listened to lectures on how great rednecks like Thomas Jefferson and George Washington were. I heard the BS about how John Kennedy and Lyndon Johnson liked black folk. I had read through history books that made no mention of Black Egypt and Ethiopia. I had noticed how Egyptian philosophy had been credited to the Greeks. And I too was hurt and embarrassed when I saw African American brothers and sisters marching across college campuses under Greek letters, because I knew that the sororities and fraternities to which they belonged should have been named after the true creators of philosophy, the Egyptians. Who ever heard of a Black Greek? So if you never heard of a Black Greek, why do you hear of a Black Egypt? Why do you hear of a Black Ethiopia? Why do you hear that you're Black? Why do you hear that there's Black culture and Black history and Black people who were enslaved? But he's playing you. But he's playing you. I had noticed how the history teachers never mentioned the Moors' contributions to Spain. I had noticed how the history teachers never mentioned the Moors' contributions to Spain, which was really the Moors' contributions to the world. Right? And the reason we as Americans can have a national identity, because America is Morocco. Al-Morocco. I'm Moroccan, American. Because the empire jurisdiction is always supreme. The empire jurisdiction does never, ever, 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 ever supersede to the kingdom. Never. How can it? And British is not an empire. That's an illusion. That's the Moroccan Empire. Jewels and crowns and gold chairs that they got. Chariot with the horse pulling it, the Moorish horse pulling it. Go check the Moroccan horses. Persian horses. Yeah, a European horse. The Ottoman Empire is the Moorish Empire. You know, Ottomans. It was a Bey who founded the Ottoman Empire. Dumbass. Why is he Bey? We keep forgetting that there are more states over here. Like there's more states over here. Go to any single pale Arab and you tell them that over here's Maghreb and they'll tell you yes. Any pale Arab. You go find a pale Arab and you ask them, a pale Arab guy that came from somewhere else, who's not from over here. Don't say Morocco though. Don't say is over here Morocco. Of course they're gonna say no, Because the Kingdom of Morocco started in 56 over there. You ask them Maghreb though. You ask them, hey, is Maghreb also in America? And you come back and let us know what those pale Arabs told you. And don't forget, we didn't even put on the Al-Aqsa yet. We didn't say Maghreb Al-Aqsa yet to give everything away. We're just saying Maghreb only. You go find a pale Arab and ask them, bet you. They'll tell you yes. This side, the Americas, was once known as Morocco. Oh, well, if it was once known that, then it's always known that. If you were once known as something, don't think that somebody's not going to come 20 years later who only know you as that and call you something else. They're going to call you what you were once known by. We're played out of your birthright because people are stupid and they want you to be stupid with them. Do not fall for it. And again, to address this thing about nationality and Moors and groups and all this type of stuff, ain't no groups when you talk about Moors. We are a nation. That's it. There's nothing else for us to be. We don't got to be temples. We don't got to be groups. We don't got to be associations, organizations. We're a nation once you say Moors. So we're just going to read in closing, Bringing the People Back into the Constitutional Fold of Government by Rasmariah V. Bay. To be a club or not to be a club. A lot of the non-communicating members and non-communicating leadership view their association with this movement from a private club or clique and secretive point of view instead of from the national association of members, citizens that it is. So this is supposed to be looked at from a national perspective. This is not supposed to be looked at as some group of Moors called Rise of the Moors. So they're the Rise of the Moors nation. No, they got red flag with green 5-point star. They're part of the Moroccan nation. Oh, Canaanland is a tribe of Moors and our tribe is Canaanland. No, we're part of the Moorish nation. We're not separate from other Moors. We're not the club over here, and then we have to show our, York House pass to go see Brother Seton Rabe, and then he has his Canaanland pass when he comes Canaanland. We're one people. We're one nation. This is not a club. It's either you're the Moorish nation or you're the Moorish nation. You're not the Moorish Science Temple because one day you're that and then you're no, you're the Moorish nation. That's what it is that we are. This is particularly noted in most of those who have been longtime members, but as has been pointed out by some leaders and in the dictionary, membership is citizenship. Once a member, once a citizen, then the Moorish Holy Temple of Science, Moorish Science Temple of America, is in place to teach them to be better citizens. This is evident in the inherent programs that are supposed to be in place such as temple instructions, schools for expanding knowledge and information, public relations, public meetings, business and industry instructions, the Women's Auxiliary, the Businessmen's League and activities, communications with government, officials in support of the Moorish cause, as well as newspapers for getting information to the public, as it is one of the most powerful instruments for dispelling the lies and misinformation about the movement. So as Moors who are a body, for Moors who are individuals, and your family is your body. The inherent programs that are supposed to be in place are temple instruction, schools for expanding knowledge and information, public relations, public meetings, business and industry instructions, the Women's Auxiliary, the Businessman's League and activities, communications with government officials in support of the Moorish cause, as well as newspapers. That's how much stuff there is to do. That's how much stuff there is to do. There's so much stuff to do that you shouldn't have time to debate Moors. You shouldn't even have time to debate Moors. But y'all got all the time in the world while the Moors are being active, not passive. You got comments. The apparent misunderstanding or misdirecting of this is proved when you meet most, not all, who have been a member for a long time, passive as they may be. They will give off an air of being greater than another because they are Moors who have a nationality card for quite some time. It is evident that they, and particularly the remiss leadership, have no intentions of communicating, yet are quick to criticize those who find out about their birthright, the movement, and the responsibility of the temples through other methods outside of their jurisdictional powers. Outside of their jurisdictional powers. So there's been so much work not done, which is why we have people like Mitch L., a Moor, an unconscious Moor, or European, still a Moor, just amalgamated, that whether he came up with it out of his mind, whether his mom came up with it, his dad came up with it, his grandma, granddad, whether it's an illusion, whatever, his name is Mitchell. Mitchell. We call him Mitch. But Mitch L has L in it. Mitchell, Mitch L. L is Moorish. L is Canaanite. L is Israelite. So if he's an L, then why would he be fighting against being a Moor if he's an L? He must be a conversal. He must be a Morisco. He must be one of those who think that they're holier than thou, and they have no intentions. All they have purpose to do is criticize those doing good. They give off an air of arrogance, but more importantly, an obvious lack of knowledge of what the prophet brought them, and are extremely remiss in their responsibilities. Clearly remiss in their responsibilities. Because they had a duty, they had a job to do. Like we said, there's people in the Bahamas that want this information. Think I'm worried about some Negroes in Canaanland who don't want this? There's more in Japan. Islam more, brother Nihan. I ain't seen you in a little bit. We already know how it goes, but we'll build soon. People are on this info. People want to know about their nationality and birthrights. Oh yeah. So had a meeting with these Europeans. It's about some school stuff. So we're sitting there after the thing's done, and everybody's going their way. She's like, "Hey, I meant to ask you, but is that thing that you're wearing Illuminati?" I'm like, when you say Illuminati, like, what do you mean, really? Like Illuminati. I'm like, no, this is the pyramid of the Yucatan. Other European there jumps in. You mean the pyramid that they tore down and made buildings and cities out of? European. How does this European know, one, about pyramids in the Yucatan? But Negroes don't know that. Not only that there's pyramids in the Yucatan, but that when Europeans came here, quote unquote Spaniards, they tore those down and made cities out of them. The European knows this. And based on my appearance, if I don't look like what they think is the Indian or the native or the Mayan or the Aztec or the Toltec or whatever, they would have asked the question, because why is a black guy wearing Yucatan pyramid pendant? Why is a black guy wearing that? We don't have to pray that Caucasian's gonna recognize something. We don't want no Caucasian. It's about some Caucasian recognition. And again, we studied the etymology. Yeah, we're the Caucasian. Thanks to Brother Abdullah Islam for the breakdown last class. So yeah, Caucasian does recognize our birthrights. I can see all these Caucasians on thing right now recognizing the birthright that you don't want to recognize. You're the only Negro or whatever out here. Whether you're European or Asiatic, you could still be a Negro. All these Moors on here that know about their birthrights, that study to know about their birthrights, so they're not confused about who they are. They know exactly who they are. And again, this is not something that Moors could show you, like show you how this is going to benefit you. You're going to proclaim your nationality and see how it benefits you, or you stay ward of the crown, ward of the state. That's up to you. That has nothing to do with anybody else. Do what you do. Do what you do. So don't forget, go to rvbaypublications.com. Buy a book or something. If you're broke, then just go on there and read till your eyes burn. Just read till your eyes burn, and we're pretty sure that you would get something out of it. We're very sure that you would get something out of it. But again, we're leaving that up to you. You're the one who's going to want to know about your nationality and birthrights. It has nothing to do with anybody but self. Only has to do with self. Nothing to do with anybody else. Because at this time right now, it's either you understand, try to understand, have a sliver of inspiration to want to be more than you are today, tomorrow. And start being who your ancient foremothers and forefathers were, or you will perish. That's just what it is. And again, when we talk about perish, get all this physical stuff out your mind, because Moors are Sufis. We don't deal with some low vibrational frequency, energies. That's not where we're at. That's not what we're about. We're very open to learning. Oh yeah, Islam, brother Izzy. Islam to the elder Izzy. So got a call last week sometime. Got a call. Elder Moore. Moore been in the temple since the 50s. This Moore said he sat down with almost all these so-called grand sheiks out here, grand governors, whatever other titles they got. This elder, this Moore, was in the temple in the 50s, was a grand sheik and all that. And he came to the realization. Remember, he was in the temple. Before all these people around here talking whatever to you, have you thinking they're somebody. Because they have a YouTube page and they got 20,000 views, they're somebody Moorish. This Moore said all these people sold out. He went, sat with all of them. And anybody from any line of successorship is playing games with your birthrights. Because he's talking about stuff that's been around during Drew Ali's time that these people buried. Buried. Why would they do that? Why would they keep what Noble Drew Ali brought you away from you? Why would they do that? Clearly, they have some other motives. Clearly, they have some other motives. If there's things that were around when Noble Drew Ali was around, and nothing's around right now. These people really, they really did it. So just know that the sellout is deep, but you know, they have no effect right now. They're useless. They serve no purpose right now. They serve no purpose right now. Zero purpose. Right? They serve zero purpose. Stay up, Mars. Keep studying, Mars. Remember your holy covenant, Mars. Remember your holy covenant, Mars. Never forget your covenant. We are a nation. We are a nation. We are not individuals. Because we know about our birthrights. We can do this alone. Either we're doing this together or there ain't nothing to do. So don't forget, 9:30 Eastern Standard Time. 9:30 Eastern Standard Time. MHHS, Eyes Wide Open, tonight, 347-945-5899, 347-945-5899, 425-569-5201, 425-569-5201. Peace and love to all the Moors worldwide. Peace and love to all Moors worldwide. Stay true to the cause. Victory is sure. Just hold strong a little longer. And remember, always, once you know about your birthrights, always tell somebody who doesn't know. Islam. highest honors to the prophet. It's so real.
I like this. I love how this sounds. Yo,
We needed a prophet and one was sent. So from all our sinful ways, we can repent, make things better for the children on us. I know good citizens that got their hands cuffed by color of authority and color of law. We're not impropriate person, you're outside of law or outlaw. They might call you ruthless cause you're acting like Orpa and don't know what the truth is. Making claims you do, but caught in emotions, being parts of movements that lacks motion. Activity is nil, null, and void. Haven't mastered Earth, but you're cosmic and ride asteroids. Waiting for the mothership, that's macabre. Thinking that the mother isn't also the father. Thinking that our son is the only one. Thinking young men are killed with only guns. We got it so twisted with pretzel thoughts. Talk big by yourself, but when you're in courts, pulled over by piggies, giving them jurisdiction. To kill a racist cracker talk is the purest fiction. All y'all do is talk it and don't walk it. Then claim it's racism and they made you forfeit. Throwing in the towel, moving your bowels in skinny jeans when you hear or see the sirens. What's wrong with colored people? You're actually fake. The words I speak to vampires are actually stakes. What's wrong with black people? They're actually brown, saying they run this town but acting like a clown. What's wrong with colored people? They're actually fake. The words I speak to vampires are actually stakes. What's wrong with black people? They're actually brown, saying they run this town but acting like a clown. Talk is cheaper, action's cheaper. Thought you had the Molotov and street sweepers to kill pigs dead, I'm sure that's what you said. Cause from Panthers and Malcolm X is what you read. It got you nowhere and got them dead. Arguing rights in a black status shot in the head by your own people who took a check instead of nationalizing, deciding to work for the feds. Children hungry, but they're not talking that bread when making excuses. Why from A to Z? They say they never sold out, even though they hold out. Prophet said seat them in the back, don't get the old out. New Moors were on their way, but now we're here. Moors conscious, dress their best, not like rapping queers. Selling their soul, they go to market their bodies on the auction block, red carpet. I'm speaking what's true, but hearing I'm rude, not true. Y'all are squares like a Rubik's Cube. Always asking who's this dude, I don't catch feelings. Why push pillars if you can't catch ceilings? Too much backdoor and under table dealing. Keep that up and I'll keep trader revealing. I keep eating rappers, MCs mealing. Fire I spit, got reptilian skin peeling. What's wrong with colored people? You're actually fake. The words I speak to vampires are actually stakes. What's wrong with black people? They're actually brown, saying they run this town but acting like a clown. What's wrong with colored people? They're actually fake. The words I speak to vampires are actually stakes. What's wrong with black people? They're actually brown, saying they run this town but acting like a clown.
Astro boy, the cosmic, this may be esoteric, but who knows it will feel it. Who the cap fit won't wear it, if the fest fit speak it. If you have questions, ask for more. Shorties, make your mind explore. You're more than a black man. The cock is planned, destroy a nation. Consent to being black, so the power is fiction. The effects of the Inquisition. My brown hand holds my ink in position. Sell out, exterminate you quick from my existence. If you think you can't corner our resistance, instant without thinking, I make it unbearable. Think the unthinkable. Try to battle a God who honors 5 principles. Love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. This I seek through my exodus. If I told you I was white, you'd probably say, who the f is this? Dictionary's not wrong, it's just your perspective. If the fountain says color, why you drink it? You just signed an agreement. Salute. Salute.
What's wrong with colored people? You're actually fake. The words I speak to vampires are actually stakes. What's wrong with black people? They're actually brown, saying they run this town but acting like a clown. What's wrong with colored people? You're actually fake. The words I speak to vampires are actually stakes. What's wrong with black people? They're actually brown, saying they run this town but acting like a clown. Yo, status is first, a certificate at my birth. Made my blessing of life a curse. Going in my mom's purse and my dad's wallet. Doing things I shouldn't be doing, but I lack knowledge. No ancestral homage, only knew Tangem and Lamsey. On the other side, only knew Popeye and Granny. I learned a lot, not enough streets taught me to eat by hustle, and never knew the more bites of muscle men. Only muscle men I knew lifted weights on bars. Most of my heroes from my hood looked through bars. Punches and backs faced with scars. Told me store weed in jars. Get freedom, they just want to see stars. Saying things change when you live on a range where grown men don't act their age and act in rage as he turns life's page and welcomes change. Can't be black, that hex keeps your minds enslaved. Don't be offended when we say we not black. Moors have a status, they can't make us a stat. Might be a ball cap, not a fez we rockin'. Moorish, more aboriginal, Moroccan. Don't be offended when we say we not black. Moors have a status, they can't make us a stat. Might be a ball cap, not a fez we rockin'. Moorish, more aboriginal, Moroccan. It's not just me, my people are tripping. Playing racism and prejudice, playing the victim. Victimizing themselves, won't be responsible. Still calling Inquisition, clan, highwayman, constable, and officer. KRS-One told you overseer. Faith is lost in fruition, open slap a believer. Believing when the root of believers lie. Conscious coons love to debate, I don't know why. Passing collection plates, conscious ties get paid. Followers dumb, it's not where you at, but where you from. Too many mental blockages, clear you some. Like phlegm on your chest, correct your status, Moors would hear you son. With no stress or arguments, we forever students. Feel no way to dead a nuisance. Stabbed to death with facts and truth, left black and blue. Facing the corner with a gun's cap on you. Don't be offended when we say we not black. Moors have a status, they can't make us a stat. Might be a ball cap, not a fez we rockin'. Moorish, more aboriginal, Moroccan. Don't be offended when we say we not black. Moors have a status, they can't make us a stat. Might be a ball cap, not a fez we rockin'. Moorish, more aboriginal. Flashbacks of dead days, drinking 40s of Schlitz, bought blue paper spliffs before Bloods and Crips at CMP near telling us raise our consciousness and stop rhyming about nonsense. Gotta say thanks cause that brother was on it. If I could go back, trust that I would be on it. No sweat or regrets though, still made it. Thanks to Allah, our ancestors were patient. Let me do my BS, escaping scars and jail bars. Drunk, putting pedal to the metal and crash no cars. So protected even though I neglected. Higher self all those years, lower self accepted. Finally inspected and lower self ejected like Mayday. Learned many lessons in my heyday. In many sessions, bumping Mobb Deep and Smith and Wesson. Around thug life, all you hear about is weapons. From pistols to blades, Rambo or butterfly style. Pigs always shake you down cause of the gutter lifestyle. It was really preparation, nowadays for what we facing. And defending against corpse nations. Don't be offended when we say we not black. Moors have a status, they can't make us a stat. Might be a ball cap, not a fez we rockin'. Moorish, more aboriginal, Moroccan. Don't be offended when we say we not black. Moors have a status, they can't make us a stat. Might be a ball cap, not a fez we rockin'. Moorish, more aboriginal, Moroccan.
Why you don't pull up on the passenger side of the police car and bust on the police instead of your brother? I've never heard of it. You say you're a gangster? 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 Gangster?
Black power on my ass, y'all just playing the ass posing, frontin', no bustin', no dirty cock gun button. At least more's right, rich, trying to do something. Pen as my weapon, fences up and turbans, no bluffing. Don't get it twisted, sort or more get handcuffing. Judges dismiss cases, prosecutors cussing, telling my guys recuse themselves or get sued. Civil rights leaders are conscious blacks marching on news, stopping traffic of people that didn't kill your sons and daughters. In Canaanland, we call you bright and out of order. Nationality has me awake like a sleep disorder. While most wear blinders, my peripherals broader. For the record, I sweat nervous court recorders. In Admiralty, maritime shores, Moors walk on water. Engines return with mental cures, no sight blurred. While they stay killing their minds and saying they learn.
Why you don't pull up on the passenger side of the police car and bust on the police instead of your brother? I've never heard of it. You say you're a gangster?
Your forefathers had names before they became slaves. Seems like today it's only nicknames and pain. should be learning so pain could stop from these vermin. German Nazi Inquisition is enslaving with sermons. Declared independence, still giving Moors reverence. Talking treaties with Muslims at Oval Office entrance. Into the entrance masses, keep them docile and passive. Killing them, corralling blacks, acting like hostile fascists. Take oaths to break them, unless it's from the Lord. They give profits, we take them and neglect ancestors. Playing Mr. Toffee, smoking a Dutch from the same master, bully stealing your money for lunch. Wanna drink from their bowl cause they spike their punch. With Clorox, I'm not guessing, but I have a hunch. I can say I stand up to mercenary punks, while you face proposing with Glocks cocked and shotguns pumped.
Why you don't pull up on the passenger side of the police car and bust on the police instead of your brother? I've never heard of it. You say you're a gangster.
We got guns and use them on targets moving. Try KKK badge carriers in your hood cruising. I'm not promoting violence, it's a point I'm proving. Moore's methods do work, but Coons disapproving. Khalid calling you out, but you're attacking the sheep and want to show me how good you are with your hands and feet. Never challenge a cop when they arresting your brother, but we'll wear hoods and hold skittles one after another. Acting with lethal weapons, you Mel Gibsons and Glovers. Shot in the back of watching you suffer. Black standing on corners in seconds, life smothered. She forgave him for a son's death. To listen to mother, listen to common exercising his five senses. To end racism, stop looking through racial lenses. Look at constitutional, not civil defenses. Stop marching. The only thing that pickets is fences.
Why you don't pull up on the passenger side of the police car and bust on the police instead of your brother? I've never heard of it. You say you're a gangster. Why you don't pull up on the passenger side of the police car and bust on the police instead of your brother? I've never heard of it. You say you're a gangster. I've never heard of it. Never heard of it.
Moorish MC. Hey yo. Good one on this one, Faiz. Beat Sultanate. Use fake judges to rob your accounts in their banks. Use color of law to pull off those pranks. Quick to prove the innocent guilty. Why? Prosecutor can't even prove corpus delicti. No status on record but adjudicated case. Persons are only on paper, they lie in your face. Corporate wise guys in suits like spies. Lies through black cloaks, note the peeping ties. Servants cause you debts, leave sleeping smiles. Mom leaves trials, weeping eyes, screeching ties. A set lap throne is where the fake judge sits. Worshipping a fake queen named Elizabeth, wearing a Moorish crown she got from Charlotte in a Moorish gown. Babylon's whore harlot. I'm native to America, been telling you. Stop calling them enemy when you use their cellular. Contradicting hypocrites, oxymorons. Won't watch class cause idle or Jersey Shore's on. Most sleep like awake and can't be woke. Close the casket on dirty Moors, tossing soap in graves before we throw dirt on them and quote, I'm a rockin' MC float no more in this boat. I witness strange fruit swinging on chains of rope. Snipers see the feathers and move eyes off the scope. Watch what I say, heed what you hear. Proclaim nationality, have no fear. Hear what they want to, share when they taunt you. In a dead state of mind is where they want you. Watch what I say, heed what you hear. Proclaim nationality, have no fear. Hear what they want to, share when they taunt you. In a dead state of mind is where they want you. They pack up sniper rifles and guitar cases. Moorish nationality leaves vicar stateless. Keep the property, cancel leases and land grants for every more hung Shimatata clan hands. To let it be Ashe is what this man chants. Conscious coons won't bite hands that give them scam grants. Dirty Moors, I see them from miles away. Call them out with black hair until mine are gray. No need to debate them, to deflate them, just make them keep mouth shut, feed them scimitar butts, let them send their minions and foot soldier pawns. My blade they evade like vamps at dawn. Watch them turn to bats while I'm pulling fangs with pliers. Give respect to doers, and I can't stand triers. Can't stand dirty, more fucked up liars and frauds, treasonous conspirators, wild like boars. Oh, dirty bastard, dirt McGirt Moors, got death and sulfur sense leaking from your pores. Watch what I say, heed what you hear. Proclaim nationality, have no fear. Hear what they want to, share when they taunt you. In a dead state of mind is where they want you. Watch what I say, heed what you hear. Proclaim nationality, have no fear. Hear what they want to, share when they taunt you. In a dead state of mind is where they want you. Dirty Moors dragging new Moors and beef they can't handle. Won't waste bullets or beat y'all with sword handles. Or walk the left-hand path and use black candles. Moorish Bobby Hemmett, call Orisha, spitting Jack Daniels. Use the Morris Star on y'all, upside down. Call myself Morisco to cross-check you clowns. Hating, cause Sister Steeler won't sex you clowns. Keep it hookless but jabful and vex you clowns. Don't ask what's up, catch many uppercuts. Poke puts his ring in Dirty Moors' face, they fuck her up. Watch out for Dirty Moors down with B systems. Calling them Exum wilderness and praising East wisdom. Plus taking checks like welfare Negroes. Dirty Moors always want to be known as black heroes. More like heroin, not the feminine hero, but the hard drug made to destroy our people. Watch what I say, heed what you hear. Proclaim nationality, have no fear. Hear what they want to, share when they taunt you. In a dead state of mind is where they want you. Watch what I say, heed what you hear. Proclaim nationality, have no fear. Hear what they want to, share when they taunt you. In a dead state of mind is where they want you.